Well, like all modern tertiary educational institutions, Monash University in Melbourne produces slick videos like this to get a slice of the lucrative foreign student market. It shows an idyllic life for students as they go shopping, soak up some rays, socialise with other students, visit art galleries, play outdoor basketball, drive around the suburbs, and maybe one day after graduation, settle down and raise a family. It all looks rather perfect, wouldn't you say? But as any regular viewer of ADH TV knows, this is only part of the story about our education system. What they don't include is this bit.
Only the disciplined mind can see reality, Winston. It needs an act of self-destruction, an effort of the will.
That is, of course, the famous penultimate scene from the film version of 1984, the George Orwell novel that predicted liberal societies would one day torture people into denying reality, which is kind of what's happening at Australian universities today, albeit without the torture rack. Monash is by no means alone in this, but I've singled it out because it is the latest to be exposed for forcing ideas that would generously be described as irrational, onto its students. The Herald Sun reports today that a Monash engineering student complained about being told to include an acknowledgement of the traditional owners of country in an assignment, or be docked marks. The student told the newspaper he understood the need to help Indigenous Australians, but that, quote, including an acknowledgement of country in a written assignment that is only going to be seen by one examiner does nothing in the way of improving the lives of Indigenous people. Well, hats off to that student, who is clearly smarter than all of the tutors and lecturers teaching him. An acknowledgement of country is meant to show respect to the traditional owners of the land on which you find yourself. Trouble is, those owners don't exist. They arguably didn't exist even before Melbourne was settled by whites in 1835. The only inhabitants of the Australian continent before white settlement were nomadic tribes of hunter-gatherers who often exercised territoriality but didn't have any concept of land ownership, at least not in the way we define it. Kinship, perhaps, but ownership? Not really. And if there ever was an inherited Indigenous entitlement to the land in and around Melbourne or any Australian city, it was extinguished long ago by the concept of freehold title on which this nation was built. The woke boffin in the engineering department at Monash University who wrote the above assignment could have found this out if he wandered across campus to the law faculty. Then again, you can't be sure that even the law department hasn't also scurried down the same fashionable rabbit hole of wokeness, abandoning centuries of accumulated knowledge about property rights in the process.